guess just for each guy, I know you had kind of a warm-up meet already, but how would you describe this meet in terms of competition? Who are some of the big names that'll be coming in to compete against you guys?
This would be probably the best track meet up to the SEC championships as far as the caliber of talent that is coming in. The traditional superpowers, Oregon, Stanford, Texas, Florida, LSU, they'll all be here. There's 12 teams besides ourselves, and I know on the women's side, it is loaded. And the number of phone calls I've received from various coaches that are coming, wanting to set up races to basically just run fast. So across the board, I think the competition from the opening of the multi-events to the mile relay on Saturday, each and every race is going to be very special. In fact, I was telling some of our media people that if you are a fan of Tokyo Olympic Games and end of July, 1st of August, there might be 20 or 30 individuals that'll represent their countries in Tokyo that are going to be racing in our indoor track this weekend.
You talk about men and women?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a great meet. It's a team scored meet. I think there's 5 nationally ranked teams. LSU is ranked 2nd. Texas is 4th. Florida is 7th. We're 15th. Oregon is 17th. And so, great competition across the board. There won't be an event that isn't national caliber for sure. So we're looking forward to knocking heads with these teams and seeing where we stand at the end of January. We get a month after this for the SEC championship. So, just really looking forward to seeing where our team stands and see how we compete.
What's the schedule for? Is this a Friday night, Saturday afternoon? Or?
Yes, Friday in the afternoon is multi-events. And then Friday evening, probably the featured events is the men's and women's distance medley. Both those races will probably set up probably the national leaders and as well as qualifiers for the NCAA Indoor Championships. And then outdoors or on Saturday will be some of the early meets or early afternoon and early morning. Those will be more of the developmental races, and then roughly 1 to 3, and some of that the schedule's yet to be determined.
Right. So I would have to say prime time on Friday would be from 5 to 7 o'clock. You're going to see a great relay race on both the men's and women's side at 6 o'clock for the men and 6:25 for the women. The 200s get out of the way on Friday night. And then on Saturday, I'd have to say from 1 to 4, 1 to 4:15 is the prime time. And again, the meet's set up great. We got a few prelims, but for the most part, when you get 2 o'clock on, there's one heat of everything. So it's going to be a great meet spectator-wise. And like I said, I would recommend from 5 to 7 o'clock on Friday, and then on Saturday from 1 to 4:15 on Saturday. You're going to see some great track and field.
Just as far as national qualifier, probably your most important in that regard of the year then, as far as just getting people qualified?
As far as across the board, yes, from the sprints to the distances and all the field events, this is prime time to get some SEC marks as well as potentially some NCAA marks.
I think it's going to be great across the board, whether it's the distance medley. There's a chance that those 4, 5, or 6 teams are going to be right in that national qualifying mark. On the men's side, and then you go to the 400. You go to the ballistic events, and the ballistic events are going to be phenomenal. Whether it's the 60, whether it's the hurdles, whether it's the 4x4, the long jump, the triple jump. This is a meet where you're going to see a full team, both men and women, sprint and distance, and everything in between. So it's going to be a good meet in that regard.
Are there some newcomers, whether transfers or freshmen or JUCO transfers, whatever, grad transfers that you guys maybe are going to showcase, and if so, who would that be?
Well, we've got a couple. Leslie in the 400. He's a transfer from Cloud County Community College. We also have Emmanuel Chabosin, a transfer from the University of Louisville. He'll open up in a uniform for the first time in the 3K. Leslie will be in the probably the 400 and the 4x4, and Emmanuel in the 3K. And yeah, so we got a few newcomers along with some freshmen. We're redshirting a few of our really young guys, our freshman kids, but for the most part, we still have a fairly young team. But we do have some outstanding upperclassmen, Cam Griffith, Gilbert Boyd, those kind of kids too. So
We're kind of in the same boat. We're going to depend now, I mean, with the defection of 6 seniors from last year's squad, we're in somewhat of a rebuilding stage with youth. As coaches, we've probably taken a second glance to ourselves about the idea of how much we needed to appreciate the talent we had in the last year and a half. They're gone, so new faces coming in, but we do have 2 transfers, one from UT Chattanooga named Kennedy Thompson. There's a middle distance girl that's very talented. And then we have a brand new one that just came on board in January, Chrissy Gear from Furman University. She also is a middle distance runner. They kind of lead that charge. And then in the sprints, we have 2 freshmen. But the one that's probably running as well as any is Desay Freeman. She's also a Jamaican hurdler, trying to fill the shoes of Janique Brown, which pretty big shoes to fill.
You have the pole vaulter.
And we have, she's been a little bit banged up, had to have surgery on her knee. So the cowgirl is here, Lauren Martinez. But our other one, Stay, from Stephen F. Austin. She just had knee surgery a little over a week ago. And so we're trying to make a decision on what we're going to do with her.
Martinez, is she going to walk?
Possibly. Yeah.
Imagine over 14 feet with a bad knee.
Yeah, no, she's special. She's very special.
Any more questions for Coach Harter or for Coach Bucknam?
Thanks, guys.
thanks.